looking on the brighter side as well.
Siege. Choose your champion.
Androxus.
Customize your champion.
The night will take you. Tread lightly, for this is hollow ground. Tread lightly. Ha!
Prepare for battle. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so it begins. First blood. I'll attack left flank.
Okay.
Fear.
Enemy double kill.
I return to the shadows. Pity.
Attack, attack. Capture the objective. Escort the payload.
Successful.
Enemies have returned to base.
From the shadows.
Need healing. Group up. Group up. Group up. Yeah.
Okay.
Help left flank. Okay. Capture the objective. Group up. Ultimate is ready.
Time to take charge!
Death awaits you all from the shadows.
Yes. Point spawn in 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Group up. Attack
Help
up the
left
middle flank. I'll attack left flank.
Capture the objective.
Okay.
From the shadows.
You rock. Capture the objective.
Capture the objective.
Okay.
Spirits, join us.
Flank right. Attack up the middle. Escort the payload.
But the war lies ahead.
Not stop here.
Help. Flank left. Help. Help. Help.
Okay.
From the shadows.
And the greatest.
You might
Yes. Thanks. Capture the objective. Group up.
Ultimate is ready. Take cover, sniper.
The void claims its own.
Ultimate is ready.
Okay.
Target.
Okay. Group up. Victory. Good game. Good game. You rock. Nice job.
Thank you. It's a trap.
Yeah, I'm a Scotch.
You might actually think
You
no one can stand in my way.
rock.
Stand in my way.
Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Onslaught. Select a champion.
Advances.
Koga.
Customize your champion.
Let the bloodshed begin. Live your life on the edge, and you'll become sharper than any blade.
You rock. No.
You've made my day.
No. No. The battle is about to begin. Help 5. Be right. 4. 3. On the left 2. Help left 1. Let the battle begin.
Enemies behind. Someone's got a bed.
First blood.
Always strike.
An awesome support.
Flank left.
Back to basics.
Happening.
Sign up for this.
Help right flank.
I'm impressed.
Try to keep up.
killing spree.
Try to keep up.
Need healing. Need healing.
Behold the dragon's fury!
Try to keep up.
Enemy killing spree.
This is happening! You could be my assistant!
Curses. Victory. I am the greatest.
Not a peep. Look on the bright side. I changed my mind. Mirage incoming!
Siege. Select your champion.
Kinessa.
Customize your champion.
It's just business, kid. Man or woman, young or old, my sights are steady and my trigger cold.
Prepare for battle. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin. First blood.
Right with you, bud.
spree.
Afraid.
Escort the payload. I am the greatest.
Death awaits you all. Left out.
Try and run. Thanks, champ. I'll be seeing you soon. Do you know who you're messing with? Not getting paid enough for this. Not yet. Get some. Wicked, bub. Boom! Headshot.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
You shot me! You actually shot me!
Splitting the reward. Too hot, too hot.
Killing spree.
Enjoying myself.
Escape route ready.
Enemy double kill.
Release!
Escort the payload. Ultimate is ready. Enemy killing spree.
Try and run.
Left out.
Enemy double kill.
Try and run.
Stay here. Stay here.
Group up.
Stay here.
I'll be seeing you soon.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay.
Wicked, bub.
You're already dead.
Death awaits you all. Dancing on the shadows.
30 seconds
Push
remaining.
the payload.
Fifteen seconds remaining. 10, 9,
Escape route
8,
ready.
Release.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Victory.
I only
Good game. Good game. I am the greatest. Wait, you rock. You're welcome. 15 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8,
Release
7,
the Kraken.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Siege. Select a champion.
Shaolin.
Victor. Customize your champion. You can't intimidate me. The strength of the team is each member. And the strength of each member is the team. The battle is about to begin. Group up. Group up. Quiet. Group up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The battle has begun. Drawn first blood. Enemy double kill. Enemy killing spree. Group up.
I meant for it to end that way.
The payload.
So good.
Don't deny me this embrace!
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
No problem. Enjoy your life.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Take charge.
Good game. Pick up the pace! Garage incoming! Enemy killing spree.
Try and run.
Don't deny me this embrace.
30 seconds remaining. Enemy 15 seconds remaining. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Enemy rampage. 2, 1. Overtime. Again. Enemy killing spree. Group up. Group up.
Accept this gift.
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
It's under fire.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flank right.
Goodbye.
Enemy killing spree.
Let's get one.
Don't deny me this embrace.
Time to take charge.
An enemy is unstoppable. Stop the payload. Enemy killing spree.
Not ready.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack up the middle.
You're already dead.
Need healing. Enemy rampage. Capture the objective. Enemy killing spree. Enemy killing spree. An enemy is unstoppable. Capture the objective. Capture the objective. Defeat.
That was a nice warm-up.
Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. Cancel that. difficulties.
They are capturing the minerals.
because I could use it in the future as a growing medium for terrariums and plants. In fact, you can buy insect frass in bags for gardening. These beetle grubs were, nor how many there were. But the whole time, my heart was racing. Aside from the fear of being bitten, I'm also mildly vermiphobic, and the sight of worms or anything worm-like, mini snakes and legless lizards excluded, make me shudder. And TBH, based on what I imagined these rhino beetle larvae looked like, I knew I was going to initially be repulsed at first sight. But before I knew it, something shiny and white caught my eye. We found one! OMG! Look at it! My jaw dropped to the floor. It was huge, fat, and curled up into a ball. Wow! Look at its body shape. And check out that red head and massive mandibles. Indeed, it was unlike anything I've ever seen before. I checked the back and underside of the beast. My ants were going to enjoy this giant morsel. It was time to prepare the ant turkey. I washed the grub clean with water, and it flinched at every squirt. I held the creature in my hand. For such a big and scary beast, it sure didn't put up much of a fight. All right, the grub was now ready for the execution walk. The first ant colony I planned on feeding was my largest and hungriest of all, the Fire Nation. I knew this beetle grub would be enough to feed my ravenous colony of fire ants for at least 2 days. I estimated that this fat larva had the equivalent of at least 2 or 3 cockroaches. And as I do with all prey insects, I was to put the creature out of its misery before feeding it to the ants. I took the execution scissors, still caked with the dried blood and guts of previously killed prey insects. My plan was to split it in half so the ants could easily get into the grub's insides. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Sorry guys. 3. No. I stood there motionless for a moment. My hand was frozen and defiant, unwilling to close down. I watched the helpless beetle grub, curled up in fetal position, awaiting its fate at the blades of my scissors. My heart. I couldn't. I could not follow through with the execution. I withdrew my scissors and picked up the beetle grub with a heavy heart. I placed it back into the container. What was I gonna do? It suddenly was no longer a vile beast to my eyes, but in a strange way, had become, well, cute. AC family, how about you guys? Doesn't it suddenly look real endearing to you? The shift of perception was completely unexpected, and with this new context, my plans had suddenly changed completely. They were to join our antiverse as inhabitants. Behold, a simple container I bought from a department store. It was to become the sacred home and growing chamber of our rhinoceros beetles. Apparently, these grubs need at least 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters of space, and it is allegedly better to keep the beetles singly, because they may fight and lethally puncture each other with their sharp mandibles. This container was perfect. I also modified the cover to create a much more open top and airy sides. Next, I had to add the beetle larva's food, Xylotrupes gideon philippinensis, happen to be notorious pests in coconut farms in the Philippines, where I live, as they prey on the wood and roots of coconut trees, living or decaying. And it just so happens that my neighborhood is abundant in coconut trees. So I took a walk down the street, found a pile of decaying coconut wood, and harvested this favored rhino beetle larva food. I couldn't wait to put our growing chamber together, AC family. I placed some decaying coconut wood at the bottom of the chamber. It was amazing to think that these rhino beetle larvae actually eat and grow into gigantic beetles, subsisting entirely on decaying wood. This blew my mind. It also meant that the larvae had within their gut the necessary microbiota to allow them to properly digest and acquire nutrition from the cellulose in the wood. This brick of cocoa peat, also purchased at a department store, can be found in most home and gardening stores. It's really cool because all you need to do is soak the brick in water and it instantly expands and becomes great growing medium for epiphytic plants. And well, in our case, rhinoceros beetles. I packed this cocoa peat into the growing chamber. The beetle larva may also very well find this cocoa peat to be a tasty food as well. I then added another layer of decaying coconut wood, then packed it off with another layer of cocoa peat. And voila! Our new rhino beetle larva growing chamber. A dedicated double food layered catacomb in which the beetle larva can grow and develop into adulthood in peace. What do you guys think of it? I placed the modified cover back on and proceeded to do the exact same thing to prepare 10 other growing chambers. I returned to the container and set the growing chamber on the ground, removed the cover, and carefully went to pick up the larva we had found and place it inside its new home. The larva lay motionless. I admired the neat auburn hairs that covered the larva's entire body, as well as those reddish spots running down the body. And that rear end though, looking crazy extraterrestrial to me. But it wasn't long before our rhino beetle baby began to move, and began to move the soil using its head, mandibles, and front legs. But watching it burrow now, my initial thoughts were that it didn't seem like such an effective burrower. I mean, honestly, at this pace, it seemed like it would take at least a good half hour to get soil deep. It even strangely began to burrow horizontally. What an ineffective burrower. Have a look. But AC family, I was wrong. For when it finally found its preferred place to really start digging, it quite effectively started using its legs, head, and powerful body muscles to start excavating a nice tunnel downwards. Those hairs seemed pretty good at keeping the soil moved upwards in place as it continued to dig deeper and deeper. In 5 minutes flat, the grub was completely concealed deep within the soil. I had to move some soil aside to see it. AC family, isn't that incredible? What amazing subterranean creatures, right? I proceeded to cover it up. Placed the cover back on and continued to dig out the remaining beetle larvae. I carefully sifted through the soils. I didn't want to injure the delicate grubs during excavation. I felt as though their bodies could pop with a single puncture. Wait. Yes, we found a second grub. I dug some more. A third grub. All right. This was actually fun. It was like we were digging for gold. I hit something solid and pulled it out. It was a large piece of decaying wood. This was what the larvae were eating in here, I guessed. I found a fourth grub. And a fifth. Whoa, this one was huge. Could be a male, perhaps. I placed each grub in its own growing chamber. And boy, was it ever satisfying to set each grub in its own special home we made for them. Have a look. I felt like we were bees, placing our larvae into cells in which they were to grow for their whole larval lives, until they emerge as adults. Each one of these growing chambers had all they need to develop into adult rhinoceros beetles. All I needed to do was water them periodically. And look, one grub already blessed its chamber with a frass pellet. How cute. I made sure to enjoy looking at the grubs now that they were visible, because I knew that once they were below the surface, feeding on our decaying coconut wood, they would be completely concealed in the soil, away from view. Alright, it was time to keep digging. I wonder how many more were left. I dug, and I dug, and I dug, and managed to pull out 4 more huge beetle grubs. Just look at those cute babies. Now I also realized that I should space them out a bit when setting them down, so they don't bite each other. I placed them each into their own growing cell. It kind of felt like I was planting a tree or something. When I had found the final beetle grub, I held the huge creature in my hand for a bit. I just couldn't believe nature had fashioned such a spectacular and beautiful creature. I wanted to take a final and good look at the larva before setting it into its growing chamber. I loved watching it move around. When I was ready, I picked it up. AC family, I feel we made the right choice by saving these beetle babies from becoming ant food. Alright, our baby is squirming now and just wants to be buried. I placed it into its growing chamber and watched it burrow into the soil. The process took 8 minutes. Eat well, our beloved beetle larva. I can't wait to see what you look like when you emerge. When all was settled, the growing chambers were arranged neatly behind the plateaus of Gaia. A total of 13 beetle larvae were collected, so I had to create 2 more extra chambers. All the larvae had long burrowed deep into their growing chambers and were nestled deep in darkness, where they would remain for the next couple of months, feeding on the decaying coconut wood we had prepared for them. So it turns out, the larvae are expected to pupate and emerge as adult rhino beetles by Christmas. Oh man, won't that be quite the Christmas gift in the Antiverse? I have decided to call these incubating beetle catacombs the Chambers of Sudan, a tribute to Sudan, the last male northern white rhinoceros, who died earlier this year on March the 20th. Though I realize, keeping carnivorous wild animals like ants as pets often requires the killing of living prey animals, like beetle larvae and roaches. But having said that, I am happy we chose life for these beetle grubs. For Thanksgiving, I just gave my aunts some extra roaches. So what should we call these new beetles? Leave your name suggestions in the comments, and I will choose my top 5 favorites for us to vote on in a future video. The Chambers of Sudan are placed right next to my closet, so I will make sure to check on our beetles every day. For on a random day in December, we, the AC family, shall be ready and waiting in celebration for the arrival of the great rhinoceros beetles into the Antiverse. And boy, do I have some epic plans when they do. Yes, AC family, did you enjoy this week's episode? I seriously can't wait for the adults to emerge. Can you? Imagine seeing huge rhino